Welcome back to ScoBuff Sports. I'm Meghan MacPherson.
And I'm Anna Newkirk.
We are back for our second live show of the school year, and Anna, it has been a pretty exciting month in the world of CU athletics.
That's right, Megan. Our fall season sports teams have remained strong in Pac-12 conference play. Let's check in with our Buffs football team.
It's been rough lately for Buffs football. Things appeared to be looking up after a decisive 34-0 victory over Arizona on Parents' Weekend. But the Buffs came crashing back down to earth as the Oregon Ducks gave them a 29-52 loss. This defeat was just another episode in a series of disappointing losses throughout this season, and it happened to be the final straw for offensive line coach Mitch Rodrigue, who was fired last week. Taking over in his place will be quality control coach William Valechos and grad assistant Donovan Williams. We'll see if the change gives the Buffs a spark as they tackle on the Oregon State Beavers this Saturday.
The Buffs may have had a rough go, but the fans still had a pretty darn good time. Here's some of the highlights from the October home football games.
We're here with the notorious Bananas.
Game day is the best day ever. I love game day with my whole heart.
Well, it's pretty interesting. I got to tell you, U of A and CU are, it's kind of the battle of the bads at the moment is what we've been joking about. But anyway.
And we're calling it the battle for the bowels of the Pac-12.
Probably going to be really ugly.
What do you think about the Arizona football team?
Ooh, I don't know. All I know is that we are better.
Got all our friends out here. Yeah. Nice weather. Can't wish for a better day. Let's go.
Coming right up, a sports play for the ages. And Troy Finnegan will bring you a preview of the basketball season in this week's edition of Buff Banter. Stay tuned.
The CU women's soccer team has had an exciting past few weeks, with 4 of their latest conference games extending into overtime. After suffering a few losses on the road, the team managed to bounce back with a remarkable performance against number 13 ranked Stanford, earning a hard-fought draw after trailing 2-0 at halftime. The team battled the Oregon Ducks to a 1-1 draw and earned their first win since late September with a walk-off overtime win against the Oregon State Beavers. They also managed a win against Arizona, however lost to Arizona State. They have 1 game remaining in the season against Utah on Friday.
Our play of the month goes to none other than Hopcroft's incredible bicycle kick goal that brought the Buffs back into that game against Stanford. The highlight garnered some serious media attention, earning a top 2 finish in the SportsCenter top 10 and the Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Week honor for the midfielder. Hopcroft has been an offensive powerhouse during her final season for CU, adding to the score sheet 18 times this season with 5 goals and 8 assists under her belt. In the 64th minute of the game, Sinead Hopcroft went airborne and bicycle kicked the ball straight into the goal. With an additional goal from teammate Jade Babcock-Chi, the team nearly pulled off the upset against Stanford. In the end, the game ended in a 2-2 draw after a double overtime period. I recently got the chance to talk to Sinead about the impact of that remarkable offensive play.
I think I watched it about 1 million times myself too.
Because not only was it obviously broadcast on TV, but then it also made the SportsCenter top 10.
All right, let's hit some top 10 now on a Sunday. Women's college soccer, Stanford, Colorado. Colorado sending the free kick into the box. Stanford goalie punching it out. Then Sinead Hopcroft with the bicycle kick. Anytime you get a bicycle kick, you're making the top 10. You're probably going to be in the top 3, to be honest.
A few people said there's no way it can't be on SportsCenter. I was like, I'm not going to get my hopes up. And I was actually watching it like in the nighttime. I had my cup of tea and it came on and I was like, ah.
So it just came up. You didn't even know that it was going to be, or you had thought maybe it was going to be on there, but you didn't know for sure.
Yeah, I thought maybe it might because there was a few people who were saying it's got to be on there, but
right.
I don't know. I was like, oh, I don't want to think it's going to be on there if it's not.
Right.
And then I was watching it and it came up, so.
Right.
Yeah. I felt pretty excited anyways, because obviously the attention's all on the seniors, and Sunday games are always more full of people as well. So I felt pretty good about that game anyways. But yeah, no, when I scored, it was really nice. My friends from Florida was there too, so it was like really, really cool. And yeah, like, yeah, it meant a lot. So yeah, that was exciting.
You can find the full interview with Sinead on our YouTube channel.
For this week's edition of Buff Banner, Troy Finnegan will be giving you all the rundown on men's basketball as they begin their season.
Thanks, Anna. Well, folks, it's almost basketball season, and that means it's almost time for the merry-go-round that is college basketball. CU opened exhibition action Wednesday night against Colorado School of Mines, coasting to a 78-48 win and showing some encouraging signs that they can bring into the season. The Buffs imposed their will on the School of Mines, dominating the glass and holding the Orediggers to just 28% shooting. Offensively, the Buffs were a little rusty and came out ice cold from beyond the arc, hitting just 2 of their 17 three-point shots. They did display a balanced attack, however, with 11 Buffaloes contributing in the scoring column. The upcoming season will certainly include some growing pains for the Buffs after losing 5 of their key contributors from last season's tournament team. No one man can fill the massive shoes left by McKinley Wright, but look for Keyshawn Bartholomew to handle a lion's share of the point guard duties, with Neek Clifford and true freshmen KJ Simpson and Julian Hammond III helping facilitate the offense. However, it's no secret that the goal for the Buffs and the next step for this program is the second weekend of the NCAA tournament, a place they have never been under the current tournament format. In order for the Buffs to see that goal through this season, it's going to come down to their big, talented front court. Evan Batty returns once again as the heart and soul of the Buffs, anchoring the middle as one of just 2 seniors in the rotation along with Eli Parquet. Joining Batty in the front court will be Pac-12 legacy Tristan Da Silva and projected lottery pick Jabari Walker, who enters the upcoming year fresh off tearing up Georgetown in the NCAA tournament. Coach Tad Boyle is back to lead the Buffs through a non-conference schedule that includes marquee games against Tennessee and Kansas, followed by the gauntlet that is the Pac-12. The Buffs open the year on November 9th with a home game against Montana State, and I can't wait for the season to get underway. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Troy. Up next, we'll be catching up with the volleyball team and see how their season is going so far. That interview with John Snelson that you won't want to miss. Don't go anywhere.
The CU volleyball team had a slow start to their games this month with their 2-6 October record. The Buffs swept Oregon State earlier this month, then did the same to Cal. Although they lost to Arizona State and Oregon these past few weeks, they put up a strong fight and managed to notch a win against Oregon State. Jenna Ewart, a senior setter, has brought leadership to this team and has set standards high. This month, she passed a 3,000 assist mark, making her 7th in CU history. Brenda DeLuzio, another senior leader, recorded her 1,000th career dig against ASU overall. Not the best month for the Buffs, but it is exciting to see these leaders shine.
Well, our football record has been spooky. This TikTok of baby Ralphie sums up how we feel about our upcoming homecoming game against Oregon State.
I would like to see the baby.
This week, Go Buffs reporter Zoe Paulson sat down with John Snelson, a creative services manager for the CU football team and the driving force behind the Ralphie 6 announcement video. Here's a short preview of what they both had to say.
Hi SCO Buffs fans, my name is Zoe Paulson. Welcome to the first ever interview segment on SCO Buffs Sports. I'm here with John Snelson. We know that you helped produce the Ralphie 6 video that introduced Ralphie 6 to the scene. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got that gig?
Yeah, and so, you know, Ralphie and CU football kind of go hand in hand. Ralphie's like the symbol of CU football. And so it had been about a year and a half since we'd actually had a Ralphie at all. Because Ralphie, 5 had retired and kind of ran like half of the season in 2019, I think. So it was a big deal to get a new Ralphie. It only happens like once a decade. And so we all kind of got together and said we want to announce this in a big way. And it was right before the season, so it was an exciting time to, make an announcement like this right before the first game when she would run. So I had a team of people that we all kind of brainstormed what a voiceover track would be for this and what it should say, what it should mean. And we came up with the idea that Ralphie's kind of this one symbol, not just this, one animal at a time, but Ralphie's one spirit that kind of guides our program. And so we wrote a script together, and we got Chris Fowler to narrate it for us, and he's kind of a famous voice, in on ESPN, and he went to CU, so he has a connection and a personal, attachment to this program, and he was very excited and happy to do it, and we put it together. It's about a little over a minute. It was exciting, and we put it out online the week before the game, and then they play it on the scoreboard before Ralphie runs.
Yeah.
So it was exciting.
Yeah, I've seen it a couple times. It's really fun. So thank you so much for joining us. And now for all the viewers at home, the full version of Ralphie 6. Welcome to the herd.
Do you remember the first time you saw her run?
That is Ralphie, the mascot of Buffalo. I don't think Ralphie's got enough help, Jim.
An unforgettable moment.
And Ralphie takes the field for the final time.
Pride and tradition connecting generations as one herd.
Let's turn Ralphie loose, and here come the Buffalo.
And one generation builds upon another. She's always been there. She wrestled a bear and witnessed 2000. She saw the pitch and 62-36. 62
points.
She tasted the oranges and brought home the ring. She inspired a miracle and stood strong when we looked for help from above. She's the magic that stirs our souls to greatness, our pride and tradition, connected through one running spirit. So run, Ralphie, run.
With basketball season on the rise, we thought it would be great to mention a blast from the past of one of the greatest eras of CU basketball. The late 1930s to 1940s were an amazing time for the Buffs. Back then, college basketball looked a little different. No shot clock, no jump shots, and a jump ball at center court after every single basket.
The Buffs were one of 6 in the nation who were invited to the first ever National Invitational Tournament at Madison Square Garden. Back then, there were no rotations on the court. The Buffs would only use 5 players total the whole game. The Buffs went on to win their conference season after season. After World War II interrupted 1943 and 1944 seasons, the Buffs resumed play in 1945. Frosty B. Cox and his team dominated, turning Colorado into one of the best programs in the country.
It's finally November. With that comes cold weather and falling leaves. CU football will be playing out the remainder of the schedule, and it's no walk in the park either, with away games against UCLA and Utah. Not to mention 2 home games against Oregon State and Washington. The 7-7-3 soccer team is doing the same with one final match against Utah next week. Volleyball will be at home this weekend as they take on both USC and UCLA. They will travel to Arizona next weekend to take on both Arizona and Arizona State. And last but not least, both men's and women's basketball teams will aim to get their season started off on the right foot, with the season starting to get underway.
With that, it's time to say goodbye.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at SBS_CU and check out our YouTube channel for all the latest and greatest CU athletics content.
Thanks for tuning in, Buffs fans. Stay hydrated, stay classy, and
Go Buffs!